So what is the best online interview platform for your buck? Let's talk about it. I've used about 5 different interview platforms over the years, and my favorite is a newer one called Riverside.fm. They're not sponsoring this. This is just a genuine review because I love their platform. So let's check it out. All right, in the back end of Riverside, you're gonna see several different things. We've got different studios here, and I'm gonna stick into our Encounter Today studio. And today we've recorded an interview with Pastor Mike Signorelli. Now, what's cool about this is you can have different studios. So for instance, right now I'm using DiDio's studio to record this video specifically. But if we're doing an Encounter Today stream, we can come in here and we can plan out interviews. So we can schedule a session or we can invite people to record. That way, all we have to do is hit record, go into the back end, and then they will come into a waiting room. Now that's great because we don't want just anybody coming into the link at any point and then they see us kind of trying to fix our hair in the camera. They come into a waiting room and we can let them in by clicking the green check mark. You can also turn on automatic recording because if you're like me, sometimes you forget to hit record, which is the worst possible trait to have as a media person. So it'll automatically start the recording and then you're good to go. You can also add markers while you're in there. If something special happens or if there's a potential spot you could clip out and use as a vertical video later, hit the marker button. Now it's also using local recordings, which means you're getting a high quality file even if the internet kind of buffers or it kind of goes crazy. So it'll keep uploading. The downside of that is sometimes you'll have to ask them to leave open their tab. Otherwise, it could kind of mess up the file itself. The upside is you get a really high quality file, up to 4K. Of course, there is some compression, a little bit of grain, but it's gonna be a whole lot better than something like StreamYard. Now let's talk about what Riverside does that most platforms are trying to catch up to them on. It's pretty insane, but before we get to that, I want you to leave a comment down below. Let me know what platforms have you used or what platforms are you looking at using? Obviously, there are new ones coming out now, and I'd love to hear what you're using. So go ahead and take a second, let me know in the comments. Plus, if you have a question, go ahead and write it down there. All right, now let's look at the back end of Riverside. So if we come in here to our projects, I'm gonna click on the one we recorded today. The AI automatically creates a transcript. Now, that enables them to go a whole lot of different directions with their service and what they can do for us as creators. Now, I've got a couple different tracks. Number one, we've got the interview itself, which you can go in, you can edit it, you can play it, you can create with it. That's the interview. Then we also have a little intro that we recorded after the fact. Now, here's a little hint. We record our intros after the interview because you want to make sure that you provide a promise in the beginning that's actually fulfilled in the interview. Often we'll get crazy stories or testimonies in the interview that we weren't expecting. And so we want to capitalize on that in the intro to keep people's attention. So we record the intro after the fact. Then we also have a little ad we're going to place about in the middle or halfway through. What's cool is all of this is inside of this project. So I can hit record again and we can record another file. Obviously, these two weren't recorded with Pastor Mike in studio. They were recorded afterward. We'll take a look at this here in a second, but let's finish this page up. We can generate magic clips using AI. So if I click generate, I can choose some different options, under 30 seconds, 30 to 60 seconds, 1 to 1.5 minutes. I'm gonna keep it 30 to 60 seconds. Actually, yeah, let's keep it 30 to 60 seconds. And then you can add a topic to highlight if you want to, if there's something you're like specifically looking for, and click generate clips. That'll take just a couple minutes. It's gonna go through the transcript and use AI to know like, okay, this is gonna be interesting for people and this is gonna be interesting for people. You can also generate the full episode, which basically it'll cut back and forth between camera angles. You can add captions, remove silences, all of that right in here in the software. And you don't have to download any editing software. This is all in your browser. AI voice, I haven't worked with that much yet. I think they're still working on it. Whenever I tried it, it was kind of funky, but I am excited. If you mess up or something, then you can replace using their AI voice replication model. So that's kind of cool. Let's click edit on this and look at the back end. All right, you've got your transcript on the left and you can edit via the transcript. So like if I want to remove, okay, cool, then I can remove that pretty easily. Now down here, we've got our timeline and you can add a chapter if you want. You can split it or you can add a scene. Now scenes will allow you to change camera angles pretty easily. But right here, you can see who's talking when. So the green is Alan DiDio and the purple is Mike Signorelli, which is super helpful. Now it automatically generates chapters, which is pretty epic. So political perspectives and biblical values, kind of generic, but it's good. The journey in ministry and the journey of ministry and influence. Come over here, stadium events versus street ministry. I love that. The role of critics in ministry. There's going to be some really good clips in here. Let's see, the role of wisdom in ministry. Fathering in faith, the journey of submission. Navigating authority and submission. So it's really cool, the chapters that it creates. You can also add files if you want. You can hide the timeline, which is kind of nice. Not everybody does that. Of course, we've got split screen right now, but we can change that. So we've got tracks, number one. So I can turn off the Alan DiDio track if I want to, and it'll remove him from the timeline. Obviously, I don't want to do that. There is a screen share in there, I believe about at this spot. Let's see. Here's what the screen share looks like. Now, obviously, you can move things around. You can change the split screen view, the grid view. You can do all of that. And because this is a specific scene, then we can choose it and adjust what that scene looks like. Or we can add a scene. We can also change the layout. So right now it's set on here. If I want to go picture in picture, that's probably going to be better, except for the fact that it's the wrong picture in picture. But you can tweak it and work on it here in the editor. Of course, I would spend more time on this. You've got brands. You can add your logo, background, spacing if you want. Layout. This is just, I generally want to use smart scenes because it's going to automatically create those scenes for me, which is great. Music, we can add some music in here. I'm not sure about the copyright aspect of this, but it's pretty cool that they're adding this. In fact, this is new for me. I didn't even know they had this. Captions, obviously, if you want some captions, these are great. These are just templates, and of course, you can adjust them if you want. I really like the way they look and the way they highlight. It's nice and clean, except for like, this weird funky font up here. And we got uploads. You can add images, videos, or audio. You can record an additional section, which we're not going to do as of right now. And then of course you can add text, which is kind of nice. So if I just want to add a text in the bottom like Mike Signorelli, we could do that. Up here, you can change the dimensions and you can get a preview of what it looks like. Now, what's cool is it uses AI to know where the faces are at and try to place them accordingly. Now, what's cool is we have our magic clips. So we can come in here and take a look. It's still taking time. Okay, that's fine. Taking your time. It's okay. It's okay. Take your time. You're just up here vibing. It's an Alicia Keys quote. Hey, we got our first magic clip. Let's take a look at this. We got a bunch in here. Okay, I'm just gonna pick a random one. Let's see. Now, this is normally 1 in every 5 clip is actually pretty good, or it'll help me remember a certain spot. And so maybe this isn't the spot, but I'll remember like, oh yeah, they talked about this. So I'll skip forward ahead like 60 seconds and we'll have a solid clip. But let's take a look.
It's like, that's what people don't understand. Like, and the kingdom of heaven should be advancing. And I'm never going to apologize for things growing because yes, a tumor and cancer grows, but healthy things also grow. And so we're not going to diminish growth and think it's always evil. And I think I'm just fighting for that in our generation because the Lou Engles are getting older. And what I said about stadium ministry is like, Paul did it, Lou did it, and I'm doing it. And somebody after me should be doing it if it's the right thing from God. So that's basically my best explanation. And
so this is a great start. And so what I would do is I'd change the style first of this right here. Let's go with something like this. I'm going to start with a hook. So stadium ministry is like Paul did it. Louis, I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to click. Oh, here we go. Keep only this. So now everything was cut down to just that. And so I can hit play.
Stadium ministry is like Paul did it, Lou did it.
Nice. Okay. Remove the pause there. That's good. And so I don't even have to remove the pauses. I can in here if I want to. I can come in here and like cut out that specific spot because pauses sometimes can make an edit kind of just clunky for the viewer. So that's what we're looking at with vertical clips. And then we click export. It like exports it and then emails it to me, which is great. And so I can download it on my phone and easily post it on social media. I think next would be a scheduler from Riverside. That would be really cool if we see one of those where you can batch edit things and then schedule them out. Riverside is really helpful, but you want to make sure that you're packaging your content well before you're releasing it. So thumbnails, titles, all of that packaging strategy is key in order to get your content in front of more people. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Every video needs to be specific. Every video needs to answer a specific question. And so in the coming videos, we're going to be talking more about that specifically. So be sure you subscribe and let me know if you have any questions.